Hi, this is Deb with Pinecone Press, and welcome to our travel adventures. We are going to be creating a travel album. Today's kind of a generic one for any type of travel adventure. So first, let's talk about a couple of things. Show specials. So show specials, if you place an order of $75 or more, we'll give you free freight. If you place an order of $25 or more, we're going to give you a package of our flat book blanks. What's really fun about our flat book blanks is that you will be able to create 6 different cards, and we show you different cutting ideas for your cards, or you could make 2 flap book albums. There would be 3 sections each, or you could make 2 albums. Well, see, 3 albums that are 2 sections each, or 2 albums that are 3 sections each by combining your flat books. So for any order of 25 or more, you're going to get our flat book blanks with then the ideas of what to do with them, to do 6 projects you could create, or to do the little mini albums. Free freight on orders over 75 or more. So since we're traveling, we want to have a travel suitcase. So we have our chunky blank that comes with the white pages, or it comes with black pages, and it's our 6x10 album with the suitcase handles and the closure, so that you are ready to create your own travel album. So it comes with the 6 inside pages, and now this is our 3-inch spine album. We also have our travel album suitcase that comes with a 2-inch spine, and it comes in with 4 of the blank inside pages. And either the 2 or the 3-inch come in black, craft, or in white. So that gives you, ready if you just have your own paper and want to create your own album. Here is the 3-inch spine, here is the 2-inch spine. And they're both made out of a really sturdy chipboard, the industrial strength chipboard. So you will get the handles and the closures and everything to make your suitcase albums. Now, for those of you that love the mouse, we have a travel suitcase, a Disney one. So for all my Disney fans out there, this one is just really a fun one that just has a lot going on here with this album. So a really fun travel album, your family memories. You see lots of places for photos, and there are a lot of flaps in here, and even little mini flaps that you could add photos. Here is a flap that this is kind of a waterfall spine on this album, and this one is done with our 2-inch spine and the black pages. So then with your waterfall spine, you have a 1/2 inch. So then we took some of our extra paper, scored it at 3/8 of an inch, so that will go on the 1/2 inch spine area to create more flaps, and then we put a flap onto a flap. But this is a great collection from Echo Park, where you've got a lot of these little 2-inch square icons, so they make really fun little flaps for journaling or photos. A pocket with a lot of photo tags, and with some fun little icons that you can put more pictures for on the back of those cards. Another self flap. Again, we put the flap into the spine area with another flap. A flap, look at this, and then a flap on the flap. So we are just ready for a really fun day at Disney. A great way to showcase all of your pictures. And again, like I said, this is done with our 2-inch spine. So your handles are going to come chipboard, so you're going to want to ink or paint or stain your handles to match your album. We've done that with the edges of this album also, where we inked the edges black, inked our handles black, and that gives you a Disney 2-inch spine travel album. Okay, and for those of you maybe that are traveling to Transylvania, let's just take a really quick look at the newest Halloween album. This is with the paper from Graphics 45, their Midnight Tales. What's really fun with this is created with the 8x8 paper pad. So what we did is we have taken that main graphic paper, and then really nice with the 8x8 paper pad is that you get 3 sheets of each of the designs. So we used one for the base, then we did a little bit of fussy cutting so we could add dimension to it. Now we have then saved the third sheet. For those of you that really want to add some dimensions, you might want to then pick out bits and pieces of this, pop out her broom for a third one, or maybe her hat, the little girl here, and pop her out for a third time. So you can get a lot of dimension with this album. And again, then we've created some flaps for you, some foldovers, a little pocket, and just really fun with the little yarns. It creates a little spooky feel to it. More flaps. And with this, with the journaling cards, makes it really nice. You got a lot of places to do journaling. Really nice sometimes is you don't need to cut out a whole pumpkin again. You can, before you adhere your pumpkin paper onto your base, the black cardstock, is just do a little bit of cutting around the edges so that it just adds a lot of dimension there to your page, and then the pumpkins kind of like just jump right out. Another journaling card, cards that open and flaps, and more. You see this, just a great album full of really fun places for your photos. Now we added some tulle where we heated that up and kind of shriveled and melted the tulle. Again, just kind of went here. So for those of you that are wanting to travel to Transylvania, we've got a really spooktacular album for those, A Flight of Fancy. Okay, so hope for those of you that have got your kits, pull out your kit. You're going to be needing trimmer, scissors, adhesive, pop dots. You'll want a warm brown ink so that you can ink your album. But let's get going at this. Here is our little travel album, and this is with our 3-inch spine. We're just going to kind of review this, and then we'll go step by step to review the album. So here is our bags are packed, we're ready to go, day 1 of our adventure. And with this album, we've added a lot of fold outs. Now these are just created with the cream cardstock, so you can just go right ahead and add your photos right onto those albums there, or your photos right into the pictures there. And a lot of fun chipboard accessories, cutouts, got lots of ribbons. So your bags are packed. Day 2, we got our road treats. We're going to enjoy our journey. A couple of things that open. And when you go to create your fold outs here, and you're going to be adhering this chipboard, only put adhesive on the one side so that you'll be able to open up for the photos. Day 3, more adventures. We're discovering. We're on our way. Here's our best photo of the day. Words. Got a couple more fold outs here for day 4. Oh, obviously wasn't adhered really well. There we go. We've got some fun going on there for day 4. Life is definitely good. A lift up for our fold outs. More. Next. And then we've got a little journal in case we don't have enough room for photos. You can add journaling, or we have 8 more pages here for your photos, and a pocket for some tags. So let's go ahead and, like I said, open up your kits and let's start creating. So what we want to do, nice that you can just pause this at any time. When Kate gets it posted here, this live video, you can go back and you can hit pause, and so you don't have to go quite as fast as we're going to, because in a half hour, of course, we're not going to get this whole thing finished. So let's start by getting your album, and we want to paint, stain, ink your edges and your handles. And let's take a look at the kit. Now with Pinecone, of course, you always get all of your full colored instructions, your cutting guide, our album, how we're going to put our pages into the album. Page 1, going through here, and then finishing up with our albums here down at the end. Let's just take a look at the kit then, so you know this is what you have in your instructions. We are going to pull all of this out. You'll see that you got all your papers and your embellishments. We have ribbons. We have our handles that we want to ink. You've got a bag full of goodies. We have your closure, your buckles, the barbed elastic, your instructions. We have chipboards and stickers and more stickers. Then we have a lot of paper. So let's go ahead first in covering our front of our album, because there's just a couple of cuts that I want to review with you just to make sure that we have them correct. Now, for those of you that love to play around with ink, you can take your chipboard album and you could just paint this whole thing and you could make it look like leather or a really distressed leather by layering a couple different types of inks on it, some alcohol inks, maybe a little acrylic wash on it, and then buff it out. If you want more of a glossy look, add a little of your gesso or the Mod Podge. Or we have a paper that almost looks like a very, very distressed, almost looks like elephant hide here. Our suitcase, yes, is made out of elephant hide. So we are going to make our first cut. And first what I want to do is I'm going to take off this 2-inch piece here from my spine, because it, before we cut our 8 inches. So let's go ahead and make a 2-inch strip cut off. And then we are going to want to cut this that is now 10 inches wide. We're going to turn it so that we can cut, and I like to cut just a hair before my 6-inch, because I like all my papers to sit just slightly inside of my my pages on my front cover. So I'm actually cutting this at 5 15/16 by 5 15/16. So I'm going to have just a little teeny strip that I'm cutting off. And I see here, for those of you that have your kits, that the dimensions got left off here. So they must probably be behind here. But this needs to be 6 by 10 and a 6 by 10. So you can write that on there. And this needs to be a 2 by 10. So I've cut those 3 pieces. That is going to be for, we're going to cover our front cover and our back cover, and then part of our spine. But our spine on this album is 3 inches instead of the 2-inch, so I'd have way too much of my chipboard showing. So that's when we cut into, when we're going to be cutting our brown straps, then we want to cut off this as a 3 by 10. So I'm going to take my piece of brown paper. We want to make a 3 by 10, and then we're making kind of like this faux straps here, and we've got our belt buckles on here. That I'm going to tell you a couple different ways of doing that, but first let's make a 3-inch cut on this. And then I want it to be by my 10 inches, and it'll be just slightly less than 10. So when we do our bottom spine, I am going to, oops, we didn't cut that off to our 10 inches. Let's cut that off for slightly less than 10. Okay, I want to now have, that is going to get layered like that, that will go onto the bottom of the spine. Yeah. So as you can see, I have inked my album, and I've gone over it a couple of different times with kind of a darker brown ink. And then this is where this is going to go. Then I'm going to adhere first my 3-inch strip and then my 2-inch strip, and that is going to be what we have there for our base of our spine, which you're not ever really going to see it because it's standing up, right? Okay, now we want to create our faux straps. Now you may want to have these straps and buckles that you need to either unbuckle them, or you could put Velcro dots on them. And then if this was wrapped all the way around, then you could use your Velcro dots to undo this to open up your suitcase. But to make this, so then instead of cutting your brown paper, which it says 1 by 6, and we're going to cut 4 of those, you may want to make this longer so that it would be actually a strap that comes around, but you're probably going to want to back this with the heavier cardstock. But for right now, we're just going to take this and we're going to just do it as we're showing here and kind of giving the faux look of the straps coming around. So I'm going to cut my paper at 6 inches, and then I'm going to make 2 1-inch cuts. 1 inch and another one at 1 inch. And then I'm going to adhere this onto my front of my album. So after I have my faux leather down, or my elephant hide, I can go ahead and adhere my 1 inch strip. And I would be inking all of these in between. And then we're going to attach our buckles. You've got a lot of the fun icons to cut out to embellish your album how you want to. Now, for those of you that are making this for a specific trip, as you've been going along that trip and traveling, you maybe have postcards, or you might have some memorabilia that you want to probably go to your local Staples or Office Depot and reduce the size of your travel photos or any of the icons that you want to make your own luggage icons here. If not, you've got in your kit, we gave you a full sheet of really the fun. Okay, let's see where we have those icons that we just grab. You'll have a full sheet of icons that you can cut out and a bunch of your word sayings that you can put on there. Now, most of our albums, we have the chipboard albums, they work and you look at your album and you open up this way and you go from left to right as an album. This is a little different. So on our album is, because it's a suitcase, we're orientating it this way as a more horizontal instead of a vertical, so that you're going to be reading from top to bottom. So this is going to come this way, and then sees you top to bottom on our pages. So what I want to show you about that, so now you might find it easier to work on your pages when they are flat. So if you want to work on your pages and your album when they're flat, you'll see, because you've got your bunch of pages, and they come pre-scored for you. So if you have these and you want to work on them flat, you may want to take them with a pencil, and you can write right in the center. As you see, they're going to be completely covered up. Let's get a couple pages here. That this is the top of one, and you're not going to want to just turn it over this way, because then you do this page. When you flip it down, this is some good words here. So if I was putting my words up on the correct side here, and if this was normal as we were doing a normal album, then I'd put my words like here. When you go to flip this down, they would be upside down. So on this particular album, I really suggest that you put your pages in first. You see when they're blank here. And you could write like page 1 and put an arrow up, page 2 and down. And now this is if you want to work on them flat. Let's go ahead and number them this way. So go like page 2, and you want to put a down arrow. This would be page 3, so you know this is the up arrow, and that's going to be the top of your page 3. This is going to be the top of your page 2. But sometimes it can get really confusing when you don't have them in your albums. Like I said, this is probably one of the few albums that I really like to put my pages in first, then work on them. But if not, go ahead and just number your pages and make sure that you put page 1. This is the top. And it seems a little funny. Let me just show you here in the instructions, because then we have page 1. Then when you look at the next set of pages, how they line up together, we have page 3 and then page 2. That seems, it's like, okay, why won't you have 2 then 3? Because this truly is page 2, which is on the back of page 1. So here is our page 1. When we go to flip it down, this is page 2 that is on the back side of page 1. So page 3 is going to be at the top. And the same with, these aren't adhered really securely in because I was wanting to show you kind of how they go in, and if we needed to take one out so you could see, and we were talking about this. So here's page, this is what, 1, 2, 3, page 4, page 5. So as you're looking at this here, we have then page 5 that's on top of page 4. You have page 7, then you have page 6. So you can see, so the instructions aren't really crazy when you first look at them, they seem to be, but when you put these into your album, this is how you're going to be seeing that. You'll be seeing, you know, page 5, then page 4, because page 6, when you flip this down, is truly on the back of page 5. Okay, so let's go ahead. We've got our pages numbered, 1 top, 2, you can put bottom or you can put 2, this is top. 3, this is going to be the top. 4, you need to put top or bottom, then 5. So you kind of get the hint of here what we're doing with this. So get all your pages numbered 1 through 12. Okay, also what we did then is because we have so many of the fold-outs for each page that has all these extra little fold-outs for you. So you have 5 sheets of the cream cardstock in there. So like page 1, this is the fold-out for page 1. And we want to then put on here, it's going to be 8 by 5, and you'll see the score line right down there. Then on page 3, you've got 8 by 3, 8 by 3. Page 9, you have a 4 by 10. So that's going to be one piece of your cream cardstock. Then the second piece, you're going to be your fold outs for page 4, page 5, page 8. Your next piece, you've got your page 6 and page 6. The fourth piece is for page 10, page 11. Then the fifth one, then we made that travel journal in the back. So that is where we're going to be putting in that 5, you've got the 5 sheets in there of your cream cardstock, and that's how you cut them up. So that seems, I think, pretty self-explanatory then of how you're going to cut up those cream cardstock. Okay, so we are working here. We've got page 1. So you want to go ahead with our page 1. You're going to cut your road sign page for our road trip. As you can see here, we're going to be doing a 6 by 10. So you got 6 by 10. Go ahead and get that cut and adhered. Create your fold out. Add your other photos. Add some of the chipboard icons. You can add those with your pop dots. Then page 3 or page 2. So we were going to flip this down or flip it over. We'll put our stripe paper on. Add our photos and then your embellishments. We're going to get another piece of our paper and we're going to put then our blue down. Create your fold outs for your more photos. So again, here on this page, you can then put lots of photos, even though we haven't used a whole lot of that. Then page 5, kind of same thing, create a lift up flap. Page on page 4, page 7, page 8 or 6. If there's anything kind of fancy that I wanted to talk about, the inside back cover is you are going to be creating a pocket with that. So you've got some cardstock. When you go to cut out all of your cards, you're going to have a 4 by 12 and a 4 by 12 left over. Use that for the base of your back pocket here. So you want to cut that and then cut a piece of your blue paper. Now to create our little journal here in the back. Let's go ahead and create that journal. Going through all this now, I just kind of realized it's like we didn't talk about putting on the handle. So let's just go ahead and show you real quickly on cutting our paper here to make our little journal. So you've got your cream cardstock and we're going to make a 5 by 10 cut. So let's go ahead and make it 10 inches first. We're going to take off that 2-inch strip. And then I want to make it 5 by 10 and a 5 by 10. And the instructions tell you to cut these 2. We're going to cut those 2. And then when you got your 2 5 by 5s created, because they were 5 by 10, fold them in half. Then we're going to insert one into the other. And go ahead and open that up. And with your crocodile, make 2 holes there so that you can tie them together with the string. Okay, Let's go right back here. Completely forgot till I just was looking at this thing like, oh my goodness. Okay, we are going to go ahead and put on our base paper. So I know, jumping right back to our front, after we put on our base paper, before we put in our inside, we want to go ahead and we are going to use our crocodile. Now your handles, as you see in your kit, already have this one hole punched for you. Line that up where you want it to be on your album, depending on how far up you want, and mark it, and then you are going to punch a hole with your crocodile so that you can stick your brad through and spread those out. Now your closure that you have, you're going to come down about an inch. We want to punch a hole an inch, and again, you are going to be needing your crocodiles for this. So a normal hole punch will not go through this chipboard. See how thick that chipboard is? It will not go through a normal hole. You have got to use a crocodile. So this is a good time to use your coupon or to find a cell that you can punch those. So then your closure, I have a whole bag of stuff here. You're going to punch a hole, and the little closure is in a separate bag because there's two parts to the closure. And there's then instructions too that kind of tell you your button snap closure. But we didn't want this little tack part, the bottom part. So I'm punching my hole. I am going to take this and see that shank there. That is going to go through that hole. And you want to lay it down, and this piece that has that pointed end is going to get stuck in here. So pretend this is underneath my chipboard and that's just sticking up. So this is going to be coming, and you can put that right in there. Then you truly need to get like a hammer, because you are going to whack that, and that is going to drive that little threaded screw there into the shank of that button to create that button closure. And then that's what you have, that really nice, the dimension on that. Okay, then you're gonna put your handles on the back side. You want to punch again a hole with your crocodile. You're gonna be using the small hole. You've got your barbed elastic. Go ahead and then thread the barbs through the hole. So you've got the loop on the outside, and that's what's going to be your closure. Okay, that was really quick rundown for a half hour on how to create our little purse travel album. But you can go online to pineconepressdesign.com. Put this out here for you. Free little mini albums are flat books. If you place a $25 order, you will get free freight on $75 or more. So as you can see, kind of a really fun generic travel album. And then if you're going to Disney, we have our Disney travel album. If you want to create your own travel albums, we have the 2-inch and the 3-inch spine. They come in white, black, or craft pages, and those are options that you can choose. So again, this is Deb with Pinecone Press Design. Thank you for going on our travel adventures with us. Bye-bye.